Hello and welcome to you in this series of Introduction to Psychology. Before starting this lecture and this series, I want to introduce you what will this series give you and for whom this series is made for. The series is made for the students who are going in their college, having their subject at psychology. One of the biggest problem which every student of graduation feels when they go in their first enter in their first year is that which which book is better for psychology. There are two options always. You may many of you might know. First one is Robert C. Barron and second one is Sonra Sistel. Both are introduction to psychology and both are preferred for the preparation of their first year graduation in psychology. And generally in India, when we are talking for India, in first year, these two books are preferred, and in second year we turn into disorders of psychology, and many more fields are open for us. And in third year, we actually go into the deep of the psychology, and there we have to do some difficult practicals as well. But the problem is the starting phase. If we are interested in psychology at in our first year, then our chances of getting higher marks in second year and third year increases, because first year is the base, and if this base has any problem, either you don't study well or you don't get uh, to know good about the psychology, then that's become a problem for making career in the field of psychology. And one of the most important thing which I want to tell you is that psychology is one of the most important subject right now, because much more jobs are being created in the field of psychology right now. So coming to our dilemma that Byron is better or Cicerelli is better, I'm not going to get let you get in that dilemma, because here I am going to focus on both the books. What is the difference between both these books? I will answer it as per my experience, that this explanation may be differ person by person, because this is my personal experience. I have read both the books, and what the conclusion I get was that for getting good marks in psychology, Baran is better, and for a comprehensive knowledge, Cicerelli is better. So it's your choice to get stick to Baron or Cicerelli, but I am taking both the books with my reference, and basically both the books are same up to some chapters, and after that appendixes or extra chapters have been added, in which both the books get their difference. But I will tell you the difference between both the books line by line, and we will read both the books line by line. I will prefer Cicerelli. The book which is opened in your screen is also a first chapter or first page of your book, from where our book of Cicerelli starts. But before we go into the Cicerelli, let's check whether Robert C. Barron has given the same thing in the first chapter or something different. Difference is there. The starting point is different, and so let's first start with the Barron. What they have said in their introduction chapter. He had given an example that I am sitting in a public place, at a public place. This is me. Let's assume that my drawing is not good, so better it for you not to think about my drawing, but to understand what I am saying. And there are many persons who will be around you. Let's assume this is me, this is someone A, this is B, and this is C. Now, as per Barron, with the respect to psychology, he says whenever I will tell any person that I am a psychologist, there will be three types of person who will come to me. Firstly, let's talk about A. A might be interested in psychology, and A will come to me and he will tell his problems to seek for my advice. Means he has confidence enough, belief in the psychology, either you say confidence or belief in the psychology, that he is coming to Baron and asking for any solution. And there will be also a type of persons like B who will not be much interested about psychology, but they will ask some questions like, please tell me what's going on in my mind, what's going on in my mind, and such questions which are like magic in our which creates magic in our life. These questions will be asked by a person of type B. These are not the specific types, these are just examples I have taken. And there will be third type of person who are going to be most critical towards the bad. They will say that there is nothing like psychology and they are the psychologists in their entire life. They have the experience, they are advising everyone, and their advice is better than the advice of a psychologist. So there are three types of personalities about which Barron talks when someone is introduced with a psychologist. However, he has given some characters and some remarks about these three types of personality, but we are not going to look about them. He has told that the objective of that book, Introduction to Psychology, is that to make all these three types of personality in one direction and make them feel that psychology is real and practical and is a scientific subject, and if you are a psychologist, you can give a better solution to anyone. That's the purpose of book, and you can uh, tell them in a logical manner that why psychology is a better subject nowadays. This is from what Barron has started, and after that, whatever happened, whatever he says was coincide. Whatever he says coincides with the Ciccarelli. So I am stopping here with the Barron, and next coming to Ciccarelli. Now, Ciccarelli has started with a uh, chapter named as Psychology in Action. I mean, it's not a starting point. before starting they have given he has given this slide that why to study, uh, how to study, why to study and how to study, because of the problems faced by the students. Because there are many students who come to a teacher and say how to study to get good marks and how to study to comprehend more and more. That was the problem. That is a problem basically for majority of the students. I'm not talking about the toppers or those who have good knowledge about psychology. So Sister has given some study skills he has talked about, and what should we apply, that depends upon our personality. But before going on deep, let's understand the methods which he had explained. Number first one is verbal method. You can guess what the verbal method is. Either you write something or you read aloud something. That's the verbal method of studying. And second one is visual method. Basically, in the visual method, we draw some pictures, some images, some charts, pie charts, and many more to understand the concepts. And there are auditory methods also. Uh, Auditory method is one type of method in like you are studying, watching this lecture, you are listening as well as you are watching. So this method includes both visual method and auditory method too. Even some verbal method is also included in an online recorded lecture. Here you only involve in listening, either listening from a teacher or listening from friends, etc. Group study may be also an example of auditory methods. And fourth one is action methods. A good example of this will that we try to when we are try to study something, or some of students so some physical activities like their hand movement, their movement of their feet, etc., or they may be walking and reading. This also is a type of study. But the question is, which one is best? Sister Ali has written that nothing is best. The, these methods are given to us only to know about these methods. We all have used these methods at any point of our life. And one method, if you are using only one method to study, that's not the perfect idea to study, because there are different concepts for different subjects and different concepts for uh, different concepts for different subjects, and even different logics for every sentence of the book. So you cannot apply single method to study the whole book or to study a whole subject at any given time. You can apply one method, but just you have changed the paragraph, you have to change your method of study. That's what Ciccarelli has said. Next thing is, here also talked about some time management skills, but what what is important here is multitasking. Uh, it's a very debatable thing which I am going to tell, and it's written in this book also. Basically, this is the paragraph where it is written. There are many students who used to say that they can perform multitask at the same time, many tasks at the same time, and we as a listener may think that this is true, but in actual practice, many theories has been developed, many practicals have been done, many research paper have been published, and they show that human mind is not made for multitasking. You cannot perform different tasks at the same time. If you are performing that, your performance is going to be poor in that task. A very simple thing. Don't try to perform multitasks at the same time, especially about the studies. And if you are doing so, you haven't learned anything about from psychology, because it's not theoretically proven, it's practically proven, proven on the many research, and yet there have not be, we have not got any good result from multitasking. You can read your books if you have offline book of Ciccarelli. There it is. All these things are written there, and there are something how something given that how to read a book. I'm leaving this thing. You can read it with yourself, because nothing good and no questions are not going to come from this chapter. Means this article. Okay. So from here our chapter begins. And this is from where both the books have started. Actually, the psychology, introduction to psychology, the book which we are reading, is has been started from this topic, that is the history of psychology. Both Barron and both Ciccarelli have started from this. Before this, whatever I told you was just an extract of whatever they say before starting their chapters, real chapters. And I don't want to leave any concept, so that's why I had given long lecture. Sorry for that. That was not for exams. This is where from our exam starts or our book starts. History of psychology. From but before starting history of psychology, I have a question to you. Please answer it in your comments. Who is the father of psychology? I guess there will be 50% people who will don't surf on internet. Without surfing on internet, whatever is your knowledge, just give answer on basis of your knowledge. I guess 50% of you will give wrong answer. Okay. So psychology was started with 1879. A famous name comes here, Wilhelm Wundt. This is the name. This he was the person. Wilhelm Wundt was a person who started first laboratory for psychology in the Leipzig University of Germany in 1879. And we study psychology. We trace the roots of psychology from this laboratory. After that, many laboratories and many schools, many colleges, many faculties were open, but they all were the students of Wilhelm Wundt. Whatever we will see in our history, we will get the name that he was a student of Wilhelm Wundt. So, but foundation of laboratory in psychology was not the real thing. That's why was not the real incident due to which we say him as the father of psychology. Wilhelm Wundt is known as the father of psychology, but this is not the reason due to which we say him as the father of psychology. That will come ahead. Don't worry. Right. So let's come to the definition of psychology. From where this definition born? Actually, this definition which we are going to study right now has come after many changes. It's not a one day process that someone has written something and that become the definition of psychology. That's not true, and we will understand the process. But here, the definition of psychology comes, and as per the definition, psychology is the scientific study of behavior and mental processes. Two things. This is the modern definition of psychology. Two things which should be noted here. Three things actually. First one is scientific study. Second one is behavior, and third one is mental processes. In other words, we also use something as cognitive processes for mental processes. What are these? Scientific study means something that is rational, that is logical, which we can prove that this is wrong. Anything which is scientific, remember one thing, anything, if we are saying that this is scientific, then we can prove that thing as wrong. If we cannot prove anything wrong, then we cannot say that it is scientific in nature. Examples. Where are the examples? How can we say that something is wrong and it's scientific? No, that's not true. Uh, Actually, let's understand this statement with an example. For example, let's say there is a psychologist. Sorry, there is a not psychologist. It's something like people who have the knowledge of telepathy. I'm not going deep into the what is telepathy. Just understand. This is a person who has some magical knowledge. That is telepathy. And there is me. This is me. And this person is predicting that I am thinking about this person, that is A. Let's say this is A, this is B. A is predicting that B is going to die in next 2 hours. A is predicting that B is going to die in next 2 hours, right? This is the prediction of this telepathic person. And what happens? And what happens after 2 hours? B has died. B has died. Now the question here is, can you say that due to the prediction of A, B died? Or what was the reason that B died? Can you prove anything, right or wrong? Nothing can be proven. Or this is something which has become typical. Let's make this example easy. Suppose this is A and this is B. No need to make the pictures. A and this is B. And A is saying that B is thinking about her love or his love. Gender neutrality is better. So A is saying that B is thinking about love, basically, right? Now the question is, can you prove that B is not thinking about love? This is a better example, I think, better than previous. Can you prove? Can anyone prove that B is not thinking about love? B is saying that he is thinking about love, or B is saying that he is not thinking about love. Whatever he says, can it be proven in a laboratory or in practically? No, because that's the personal sensation, personal feeling of B, and you cannot judge anyone's emotion objectively as per the technologies that has been developed yet. So right now This phenomena will not come under psychology because you cannot prove that. Psychology covers only those topics which are scientifically proven. I think I have given much lecture about this thing, what is known as scientific study. Now let's move forward. Behavior. Again, what is behavior as per science? Any observable actions or reactions. Remember, I said any observable actions or reactions. If any action is there in our body which is not observable, it will not come under the subject matter of psychology. Simply. Secondly, this was the second word, and this is the third word. Mental processes. It is also known as cognitive processes in psychology, and cognitive processes mean all the processes which can be going on in our mind. Emotions, motivation. Emotions are also divided into sub emotions, and there are many things which you may feel. Your feelings are also the part of your mental processes. Now the question is, how we can say that mental processes are scientific in nature? Can you prove that mental processes are scientific in nature? We cannot prove every right now, as per the technology right now, we cannot prove every emotions or every mental processes on the basis of science. That's why not every mental processes comes under the subject matter of psychology yet. We will study only those phenomena in our mind which we can prove empirically. Another word I have added here. What is empirical? Okay, let's not go into the deep. This word empirical will come air. So I am leaving that and let's move forward. Psychology begins with the three idiots. They were not the idiots, they were the genius in the field of psychology. But here we are talking of idiots because they were fighting with each other. Don't take my words as what I'm saying literally. Don't take it. So William One had started his university, his laboratory in Leipzig University, and he was uh, more inclined towards structuralism. Now, what is structuralism? So, to understand what is structuralism, basically, we need to understand what are the schools of thoughts. This lecture may go long, so try to be patient because your lectures in your colleges, in your university, are far more longer than for more long than I am taking here the classes. So William Wundt first started with structuralism. I'm writing it here. This is basically the first school of thought. The question uh, 150 years, I think psychology has completed its 150 years, and yet we cannot say that it has been completed or it's a mature subject. No, it's in its young stage. Many additions and reductions are being done every day in psychology. So is, during starting point there were problems regarding what should we study in psychology, and these school of thoughts were the basis of what now we study in our psychology as a subject matter. So what structuralism basically is? Structuralism means structure of our mind. Is, uh, what is the structure of our mind? That was the emphasis on which, that was the area where Wundt given emphasis. You don't need to go deep into the structuralism, because that's not the subject point right now in the psychology, in the modern psychology. Okay, so he basically focused on what structuralism is, means how we think, what we think, and how we feel, etc., etc., etc. Now the problem here, what was the problem with this structuralism? How can you measure, how will you measure your mental processes or structure of mind? How will we measure the structure of our mind? The problem was here. Then, and if you cannot measure, how can you prove that it's a scientific? The answer was not given by Wundt, and that's why second person enters, named as Titchener. Before going further, let's finish this lecture here right now, because it's going to be too long. We have 5 more school of thoughts, and it will be better to understand these school of thoughts, because before without getting know about known about these school of thought, we cannot proceed with the perspectives of psychology, because that's the important thing which we are going to study. And to clear what are the perspectives of psychology, we need to study the school of thought very thoroughly. So I'm ending the class here. We'll meet in our next class tomorrow. Thank you.